Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. So it's about 11 after 3 o'clock. It is 27.4 degrees Celsius, 72% humidity. It is humid out. I don't know, I can't read that. Something like 7.7 Tuesday, 81.6. And no, the old Energizer isn't fully charged. I've had a couple of people ask me questions about troubleshooting the round plug ignition system for 200S. So I just took a few minutes and let me show you what I have. This bike that we're going to take a look at was manufactured in 85. It's an 86. It is the first three-wheeler that I bought and kept. This was when I finally had enough money to be able to buy these things and hang on to them. This is called a round plug ignition system. Why? Because it's round, right? You guys have seen the square plugs. To unplug this, see this little thing? You pull it back and slide it out, and I can't do it with one hand, so give me 2 seconds. Okay, so I unplugged it, right? Piece of cake. Now, to troubleshoot this, it's easy. See how you look at this, right? And it looks like a smiley face, 2 eyes, 6 noses, and a smiley face on the bottom. You got this thing on top, a couple of bumps on the bottom. That's the way you look at it, okay? You pretend that your world is the CDI, right? What is the CDI looking at, right? The CDI is looking at that smiley face. So take your CDI out, put it over here. Don't think about your CDI for a few minutes. So once you look at that, then you'll look at the bottom of the plug and you realize green goes right to there, right? And red black is up on top here. Then you got black white or black red. Black white is in the center. Black yellow is that one, and last but not least, blue yellow is this one here. That's a no connect. See, nothing in there. So after you notice that, draw yourself a little diagram. And when you draw yourself a little diagram, it'll look just like this. See the 2 eyes? 1, 2. See the little hat? See the smiley face? See the 6 noses? And on the diagram, label it green, just like that. Black red. Black white. Black yellow. Blue yellow. And no connect is that one right there in the center. Then what are these hooked to? Green is hooked to the engine case. Green is ground. The entire bike is hooked to green. Everything is grounded. Black red goes to the stator. Black white goes to your on and off switch. Black yellow goes to your ignition coil. Blue yellow goes to your pulse generator. And that one that I told you before, no connection. Then if you take your handy dandy meter, right? This thing is a Harbor Freight piece of crap. Free with the coupon. You can do all the readings except one on the 200 scale. And that is the black red to ground. The reason why you can't do black red on the 200 scale is because it's 220 ohms and you won't get a reading. For that you got to go to the 2000 scale. And literally, it's this easy. Let me show you. There's your meter. you're on 200 scale, right? You hook one to the body, and I'd like to stick this in the body somewhere where it'll stay. Well, trying to do a bunch of things one-handed. And of course it's not working. Anyway, so you plug your black onto the body. Let's say right there. And you plug the other one right here. And you should get somewhere around 0 ohms. Right? Then you just keep going around. The next one, right up here, the stator. You go to ground. I'm not wearing a chest mount camera, so I can't quite show you. But anyway, if you rub the black lead up against the black to the engine, and make sure you have a good connection to the engine. If you rub it on there good, and then you plug it into the green right here, you should get somewhere less than an ohm. Make sure you zero your meter. If your meter only goes down to 5 ohms, and then when you connect those two, you get 5.5 ohms, that means you have a half an ohm. Not that you have 5.5 ohms, you know what I mean? You have to zero your meter first. So, less than an ohm. Between ground, the body, the engine case, and the black red, you have 220 ohms. You have to switch the meter up to the 200 scale or you won't get a reading. Black and white, if your on off switch is on, you'll have an open circuit. If your on off switch is off, it should be less than 5 ohms. Black yellow, that is going to the primary of your ignition coil. It should be less than 5 ohms. Typically they're almost as short. And blue yellow goes out to your pulse generator, and that gives you about 30 ohms. These are all pretty close. If you get all those readings and you have no sparks, and by the way, no spark with a new spark plug, and I recommend 2 new spark plugs, right? Try one and then try a second one, just in case NDK or Champion or whoever got your plugs from sold you a bad one. If you truly have no spark, then I would change the pulse generator, and then only then. These round plug pulse generators are not that common. They don't have them floating around all over the place. I parted out a few of these bikes, so you know, it just so happens I happen to keep a spare around for myself, but generally speaking, it's easy to go with the square plug ignition. This is the square plug ignition. And there's the CDI that you slam right into it. Bang, that easy. Right. Notice how I have this hooked up, right? Black yellow wire to the coil, the other side of the coil green for ground. This green hooks up to body ground, right? See green, hook that right to the engine. They use blue, white. On the Honda diagram it's blue, yellow. That goes to the pulsar. This here goes to the, it's black red, goes to the stator. And the other green here, you plug that right into the pulsar also. You need ground to the pulsar, and you need blue, white, blue, yellow to the pulsar. One for the ground because, right, you want to spark, but you got to be against ground. You also want to get power from the stator, so hot for the stator, ground for the stator. And notice what I did with my black white. I have it hooked to nothing. Why? Because I don't want to turn the bike off. Also notice, kind of when you look at this wiring diagram, it's a tad different right? As you go around the circle, it's not quite the same order as it is here, right? If it had the same order, see black, red, underneath it would be green, and that's not the case. They do have the off in the same position. They have the no connect in the same position. They have the blue yellow in the same position, but they got the ground and the ignition coil in opposite positions. So you can't just stab one of these onto a round plug. You gotta decode the wires and make sure they're all plugged in correctly. So I hope that helps. There's your color coding. Blue yellow 30, black yellow less than 5. Black and white, this is your on and off switch. When it's off, it should be less than 5 ohms. When it's on, it should be an open circuit, which is like infinity, which is your meter like flashing in your face. Black red is 220 ohms. Don't forget to click your meter up to the 220 range. And green should be green to the ground, to the metal case of the engine, should be less than 1 ohm. All these readings should be to the metal case of the engine. So between green and the metal case of the engine, between black, red and the metal case of the engine, and on and on and on. That's simple to test. If you get all those numbers, and once again, you change your spark plug a couple of times, it's probably your CDI unit. What would I do if I had a round plug CDI that went bad and I didn't have a hoard of parts? I'd probably want to convert to a square plug. And how hard is that? I'm about to put a video up on that. I think, or I ordered, and I'll be able to show you, I have ordered two $16 pit bike ignition system. It comes with everything. It comes with the coil, comes with the CDI, comes with the harness. Doesn't come with the pulse generator, doesn't come with the on and off switch, but you really don't need it. And I just want to show you guys that for 16 bucks you can basically put together a minimum electric system to get one of these fired up. The other thing to note on these things, that you kind of have two electrical systems in one. You have one electrical system that obviously runs the ignition. Then you have another electrical system that runs the lights. And to go the next step further, the electrical system that runs the lights is a little more beefed up, so it charges a battery on the 200 ES, 250 ES, so that you can actually start them up also. All these things use a separate stator. Once again, an AC system. All these Hondas that I'm talking about use an AC system to run the ignition, and then a second AC system to run the lights. The 250, that AC system has a regulator on it and all that. Eventually becomes DC, charges the battery, and the headlight and all actually runs on DC. But two separate electrical systems, one for the lights, one for the spark. All right, I hope this helps, folks. I want to here, let me just show you the tag on this thing just in case. No, this is an 85 model made in 84. This is the downshift pattern. I think there's only one more year of this floating around. The 86 model, I don't think they came out in 87, or if there were any in 87, there were very, very few. I have yet to see an 87. I see a million. I don't even see that many 85s. Occasionally I'll see an 85. Rarely, even more rarely, I'll see an 86. It seems like after 84, model year 84, there just weren't that many of them out there. The two new ones are 84s. Mostly, I think if I cruise around the fleet and start checking dates, most of this stuff has 1984 on it. So probably they let him out in 84, or they sold a lot of them in 84, and some drunken characters did stupid things and got hurt. And then the lawsuit started, and by 86, 87, they were gone. 87 was the last model year they were produced. There's no 88, at least not here in the U.S. I don't know if any got to Canada. All right, folks, I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up, and enjoy all your days. Remember to have fun. Bye now.